because this guy is amazing. He's got the magic touch. He puts things together. Like, I'm working with him now again. So Coco Shack is a beautiful, beautiful little place. Coco Pizzeria is amazing. His vision is just, let's make it pink. And why? Because we're gonna have a lot of women come here and eat pizza. And that's what we see every night, right, Giuseppe? We see a lot of women coming to eat pizza, and he's right. But it's just a visionary. This is from going way back. Also, what I want to say, I love Pino all my life. Like you guys said that, I don't have the words that you guys speak, but I want to say one thing. This guy has taught me a lot. You have. From the bottom of my heart, you taught me a lot. I wouldn't be where I am today, and pandemic has brought me down a little bit. He called me up, and there's an angel in heaven that made Pino call me again to work with him again. So, and we're together again. We might have our moments now. Since I was an owner for 25 years, I love you like a brother.
Okay, so when I came to work for Pino, I already thought that I was a chef. I thought that I was a pastry chef.
Something like that.
So when I came to work for Pino, I came to work as a pastry chef, and I thought that I really was a pastry chef. I've been a pastry chef. But Pino taught me a way to think about things, to think about business, to think about your relationships with people, and to think about how you do your thing, right? I mean, to have pride in it, and to be consistent, and to care, and to actually have a point of view. And it was a great thing. And I think that also a great thing about Pino is that he built relationships with amazing people. And I look around this room right now and I want to cry because I see all of these people from Jacobella and Jesse, who I've known since Jacobella was a tiny little person, to Cesare and Gianni, who was here earlier, and Michael Shaw, who I've always heard of, but I only met tonight for the first time. And John Fanning, and Tigre, and Tom Piscitello, and Maurizio, and Sergey, and Kevin. I mean, Pino made all of our lives interesting, and he taught us a lot about what it was to be a chef or a restaurateur or a person who lives in this world. And I cannot express enough gratitude to this man for being the best guy and the best visionary ever.
Maurizio. We have one more chef, Maurizio, to come and speak.
Yes. Yeah.
Maurizio.
Okay, here comes the king of the apple.
No? Okay, you speak to speak.
I'm not the one. Maurizio was with me at Sapore di Mare for a long time, but then when I decided in 2001 that I had enough of Sapore di Mare because of bullshit and 5 months a year business and then 2 months is down and this and that, someone came about and says buy the property, and I sold it, but he stayed and he had the most successful restaurant in the afternoon. Wow. Dopo spiaggia, vai a letto, vai a dormire, tutto, 7 metro, Argenio, dopo, il ponte, tutto. Wow. He's got an incredible day. Right now he owns what, four restaurants, spiaggia? So, Southampton, after you. And that's Maurizio, which is a great guy.
So we're going to turn the music back on in a second. Thank you for letting us interrupt the dance party. But
First,
yeah.
I really am, I have the curiosity.
But he didn't say anything.
Who?
Karen Conley,
Yes.
John Fanning, and Popish. And
Yes. Well, the one thing, and I'm going to give the microphone to you. The one thing I want to end with the group that you just heard from is that we might have been the people that worked with Pino in the past, with the exception of Ciro. The team you have today, Pino, is just a continuation of everything you have done. You have not stopped. You are, and you'll excuse my language, you are a fucking warrior. You are a fucking warrior. And that is what I love about you most. And the guys in the kitchen, I don't know who's sitting out there, where's Jorge and Tigre? You guys crushed it. John Fanning, I'm a little disappointed that there wasn't a bow tie tonight, but at least you don't have socks on, so that's good.
I'm gonna see if John Fanny has anything to say.
Yeah, come on, John, let's go. I'm done. Thank you,
Because now we go from the kitchen to the front of the house, which notoriously at Coco Pazzo were known as the biggest motherfuckers that you can come across. To every table at Coco Pazzo, it was a difficult thing to do. Tom, where are you? Tom left?
So coming from the best motherfucker in the business, I appreciate the compliment. I'll start with where Michael started because it was so resonant. Because it was when I showed up, I wrote him a ballsy, stupid letter. I wrote him a letter. He had just opened Le Madri. It was in May, and it was now maybe August. And I said, "Dear Pino Luongo, I had a terrific dinner at your restaurant. Pity the service wasn't as good as the food. Want to talk?" It was that letter. I had nothing to lose on it. And we've had that relationship ever since. So we talked, and the rest, as they say, is history. But what inspired me then, inspired me all along and all the way through, and it resonates with all of the gentlemen in the white chef's jackets, is Pino's unrelenting pursuit of excellence, especially if it involves an ingredient. And that was wonderful, because he wasn't easy. Everybody said he wasn't easy. That's not true. He was a fucking ball breaker. But if you had an answer, and you had a reason, and you had a motive, and you could defend it, you got to live for another day, and then you get challenged at another level. But the expectation of excellence was what got us all going, right? I think it was. He wasn't on a different page. We were all on the same page. He was just reading faster. And then now I wanted to roast so bad. I was going to do all sorts of naughty things, but I'm going to pull it back a little bit. Pino's masterful control of an accounting book is legendary. It's because he still has his first Holy Communion money. Right, so he knows who was on what side of what coin at what year and the year that he had. But that's again the inspiration of what we all learned. It was, can you back it up? Do you have product? Pino has got an incredible eye for architecture. We all know this. It's like his taste is impeccable, not just in staff selection. So one night he had the mistotero, which you enjoyed from Jorge tonight, the vegetable antipasti. It was a speciality of the house. And it was at a table in the front of the restaurant at Coco Pazzo, which was a restaurant all about famous people eating there. Could never happen again, right? It could never happen again. It was reading People magazine virtually, but just they happened to be that person, this person were all famous. And one night, everybody who sat at the three tables called and said they were coming, the front three tables. And I needed to come up with table 40 in a hurry because they were on their way. So I grabbed a foretop and the base, screwed it in, grabbed 4 chairs, put it in, ran the antipasti down the hallway a little bit. Okay, I lived for another day. As he walks in, and it's, "John, hey, what are you doing?" "No." "What the fuck is that?" And I went, Mr. X is coming, 4 seats times $74 seat times 2.5 seatings times 362 days a year. Pause. I like it. The problem was it became his table. I'll be coming for 4 at 8 o'clock and I want table 40. But it's tribute to his, because he knew it was the great table because that was a great table. And in that room, it was a It was a goldfish bowl. Le Madre was the most beautiful restaurant in the city at the time, and that cannot even be disputed. It was the most beautiful, everything about it was good. The sight lines were great, the color was great. No matter where you sat, well, I think apart from table 26, everything was magic. But it was Pino's maintenance of excellence, and that's what kept us all there, kept us all going, and still informs Pino's legacy. It's no longer a legacy, it's a future, because he's still doing it. And that I want to acknowledge. That's the most important.
Hello? Okay, like Karen just said, this is going on for a little bit too long, but I just want to let everyone know, I just started working for Pino in February, and the first day that I started working for Pino, Karen, who's responsible for this entire event, sat down and stared at me and goes, I think I want to do a Pino legacy tour. I said, okay, it's my first day, whatever you want. I mean, from that day on, February 18th, until now, Karen has put her entire heart into this project. And it would not be anywhere without Karen and her love for Pino's legacy. And I've learned so much about Pino, so much about this entire legacy, and I'm so happy to be a part of it. And I just want to give the biggest shout out. Yeah, he didn't want to do this. He did not want to do this, and Karen said, Pino, there's no question about it. I'm fucking doing it. And look at this, the most beautiful event, all because of Karen. I mean, down to the grittiest detail. I don't know if you guys saw the napkins with Pino's quotes on it. She thought of the most simple, over the top details for this event. And I'm so glad that all of you are here. And I know it means so much to Karen. I know it means so much to Pino. And I just love Karen, and I'm so happy to be a part of Pino's legacy as well. Love you.
Things that you said, but when I remember this rhyme a long time ago because Anthony Bourdain was a friend of mine. He worked for me for a period of time. I had to fire him because he was not good at what he was doing at Coco Teatro because it was a very fast-paced 6 o'clock dinner for 200 people, and Anthony didn't like that. And I remember what I said to him because he was telling me, Pino, you got a lot of people don't like you in New York. And I said to him, it's good to have enemies. It means you are important. And Anthony says, you know what? You're right about that. Yeah. My favorite one, because when I really hate a restaurant in New York, I really hate it. It's not mine, but I don't care. So I had an interview with someone who was asking me what I thought about Locanda Verde. I says, if that Locanda Verde is an Italian restaurant, I'm Chinese. And that was my answer because it was one of the worst Italian food I ever had in my life. I remember I went there for dinner in 6. They brought some balls that were rolling on a plate. And then they brought something else and the pizza was cracking in the middle. And I says, what kind of restaurant is this one? But because it was Bob De Niro restaurant, supposed to be a great restaurant. That's BS. It was not a great restaurant. It's very popular, it does very well, but it's not Italian. So on that note, Karen, you want to say something? Karen here. She was my first personal assistant, and we go back how many years? A lot. Before I opened a cantina.
As I say, I'm OG. My first job in New York City was at Zinno Restaurant, and Pino was maitre d'. And every night after the shift, he would sit at the table in the bar and go through all the Tuscan cookbooks, planning La Madre. And Ned, you found your backers there.
Yeah.
And then he went to start. Cantonori. Oh my God, it's so long. And so then at Cantonori, he stole me from Zinno to expedite in the kitchen at Cantonori.
Yeah.
And the one thing I want to say is that Pino, he always had my back. I mean, I was a little girl just off the farm in Minnesota, and the chef at Cantonori was very, very tough. He was very tough. He didn't want a woman telling him how many steaks to put on the fire. But Pino, he backed me up the whole time, and I finally broke Tony. And then there were some Yugoslavian food runners who were a little rough too. But Pino he always believed in me, and I got to open so many restaurants and it was so much fun. Someone's talking about all the people at Coco Pazzo. Well, one night I got to cater a party at Julian Schnabel's, and I was in the kitchen, and it was late, and I was cleaning up, and Richard Gere walked in, and he said, "I'm so sorry I'm late. Do you think you could warm something up for me?" I was like, "Yeah, I can do that." And I was like, that was way before cell phones, because I couldn't tell anybody at home. I couldn't call anybody or tell anybody what just happened. But I got to come to New York, and I got to go immediately to the top of the restaurant business with Pino, and I'm very, very grateful for that. And I don't want to bore anybody because you don't even know me.
And it was very nice to have you here tonight, Karen. I haven't seen you in a long time. Thank you. One more person wants to talk.
One more person from Northern Italy. Dan, I might preempt you. Hi. So it's been a lovely 11 years, and I contribute everything to where we are today. Oh no, it's fine. But there is one person who has been here since I can remember, because I never came up to the East Side because it was always kind of like, not my thing. But someone named Candy came up here one day, had lunch, did whatever, and she found her Cheers. And so this became her place. And for the past 10 years or so, it morphed into a very, very special place. So tonight, I'm so happy to be here because I'm celebrating, and I love the fact that it's 40 years for Pino, and for me it's 10 years or 11 years for Morso. But at the end of the day, the only person who brought me here, and the majority of people who come here today, is this lady over here. And she will never forgive me for doing this, because you know what? In PR and marketing, we take the back of the stage. We never come front, we never take credit, but you know what? There's sometimes in a moment, in 1 second, where you just gotta say thank you to someone who kind of gave her heart to this place. So, for whatever it's worth, for all you girls and guys who are here and you know her, that's Candy. And I'm gonna bring her here. So you come forward. She's gonna kill me. She'll kill me. She won't talk to me tomorrow. But I think there's some kind of kudos that go to this woman, because she's given her heart and soul. And you know what? Everyone has their skill set. You have yours, Karen has hers, and the two of you are going to keep making magic for Morso and all of the Cocos coming forward. Cheers, and happy anniversary, Pino. I love you, I love you, I love you, and your two sons. Well, they left already, but thank you for everything you've given me and my mom too. So, saludos.
All right, I want to say, from a customer perspective too, and I'll be fast, but I definitely want to say something for my friend Pino, and Mary Ann and I have been coming here for 10 years. First off, Jesse, thank you for putting up with them. And we've enjoyed meeting your family and your beautiful children. Thank you for having this restaurant in this neighborhood, it means a lot. But here's what I wanted to say. In my career, I work with a lot of CEOs, and dude, you could teach them a thing or two. I'm just gonna tell you that right now. And you talk about I'm not a chef, I'm a customer, right? But we eat all over the world, and we go to these places, they've been in other countries, and they all know Pino. And they're like, oh, Pino, yeah, I used to work for Pino. This is a James Beard award-winning chef in Atlanta, Piero, and he's like, oh yeah, I work for Pino. And they all say one thing, I'll finish with this, he's a legend. And I'm gonna say salute to the legend. Cheers.
And now let's dance.